Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2020 love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as person readings go, I'm still taking a break from those. Not sure when I'm going to start them back up again, but when I do, I'll make an update in the community section of the channel. As far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the Bridging the Gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Also keep in mind this is a general reading, so while I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy, if you feel more like the cards on the right resonate with your energy and the cards on the left is the other person's, then definitely trust that. Alright? So with all that said, get started with the past energy on your side. We have the Ace of Cups, Temptation, which is the equivalent of the Devil card, which is the major arcana card for Capricorn, and Five of Coins, which is Taurus energy. So, interesting mixture of energy here. Now, I do have to say one thing that comes to mind with this, it could just be saying that you might have made a love offer to this person in the past, and possibly they were involved in another connection, but you might have, drew them away from that connection, and then possibly might have even left the connection with that person. Given that we're going to have a Mercury retrograde this month in Scorpio, I feel like it could just be pointing to maybe the last Mercury retrograde we had, which was in Cancer, so it could have been over the summer if that's the case. For some of you, it could have played the other way around as well, which is to say that, they might have actually tried to lure you away from another connection and then ended up leaving the scene. But either way, that's what I'm really feeling here. It looks like, and maybe even another way is that, this was just saying that you actually had intentions to be with this person. The attraction was there, but maybe someone from your past actually came back along, and maybe you didn't expect them to come back around, so you might have already just figured it was over. And then once that past person came into the connection, you might have left them behind. So just some ways I could see that energy playing out. A bit complicated, but hopefully that resonated. Now the past energy on their side, just one card. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So to me, it looks like it's saying that in the past, it definitely does seem like they were actually interested in starting something serious with you. That's primarily what I pick up on there, because the Ace of Pentacles, you think of that stability and long-term potential. So to be fair, though, it is just the ace, so it could just be saying that maybe you really didn't get too far off the ground past the two of you just discussing possibly getting with each other. And like I said, maybe during that time while you guys were in negotiations, well, that sounds like a weird word to use, but while you guys were discussing possibly connecting with each other, you might have had an ex come back around and it might have pulled you away from the connection. In the present position, we have the Princess of Staves. So this is actually the equivalent of the Page of Wands. And seeing this card come up here, I kind of pick up on that same energy, which is to say, it looks like you guys are moving away from this person. But at the same time, what stands out to me is with the artwork here, obviously the horse and the position it's in is pointing away from the cards in this side of the spread, but also it looks like she's kind of looking back though. So it could be one of those things where I feel like it could just be, quite frankly, maybe the two of you just have a really passionate draw to each other. And like I said, maybe they actually might have been the ones who interfered in a connection you were in, and you might have just decided to just leave it. And again, like I said, maybe, especially if they did come around during the first Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and now they're coming back around during the one that we will have in Scorpio, could just be saying that, okay, you might be like, all right, I feel the temptation totally, but this time around, I'm not going to go that route, so you could just be trying to move away from it, because the present energy on their side is the Ace of Wands. So it definitely seems like they'll be coming back around. Like I said, it seems like the attraction between the two of you could be really high. And then, we even see, it looks like two silhouettes in the fire there that look like two people as well. So it could just be saying that this is a really passionate attraction that the two of you have for each other. So it could just be saying that, again, and there's a couple different ways why you might be leaving a connection. Like I said, for some of you, maybe this was someone who came around while you were otherwise involved and pulled you away from that connection and might have ended up breaking up that connection. Or like I said, for others of you, it could just be that they were the outsiders and you're like, all right, you're trying to fight that temptation this time if they come back around. All right, and the future energy on your side, we have balance, which is actually the equivalent of the temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy, and Queen of Arrows, which is the equivalent of Libra energy. So this is an interesting mixture of energies here because, for one, for you guys, Libra is actually your 10th house of career and social status, and then with this energy here, Sagittarius is your 12th house. So could just be saying that, you guys might be trying to, basically, for lack of a better way of saying it, it looks like you guys might actually come to terms to where you might actually be in the actual connection with each other as opposed to this weird in and out type dynamic that you guys have going. The reason I say that is because I see the fire there, and that makes me think of, like I was saying, it looks like there was definitely a passionate vibe between the two of you, and then with that water there, to me that represents bringing the emotions into the mix and actually finding a mixture of those two. So it's like, all right, beyond it just being a strictly physical connection, you guys might actually take things to the next level as far as on a more emotional level. And then with the Queen of Arrows, this could just be pointing to a timeline too, saying that, as we move through Libra season, that could be what actually gets things lined up between the two of you. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with these two cards. Yeah, that's primarily what I'm seeing there. And then maybe watch out for the energy around the new moon in Libra as far as when this might take place for you guys. And then future energy on their side, we have the Knight of Swords. So to me, this is actually the court card energy for Gemini. And I always point out to people, especially with the general readings I do, that this card tends to pop up a lot when we have a Mercury retrograde at play, which we will, like I said, this month in October in the sign of Scorpio. So it could just be pointing to, again, like I said, this person might be coming back around during the retrograde. And if that's the case, look like they'll be communicating with you quite a bit. And, it could even be sexting. So, it might not be too seriously. But like I said, I'm really picking up on the energy that, at least in the past, it looks like there was someone else in the picture, either on your side or on their side. And it looks like you might be resisting it in the present. But in the future, it looks like you guys might actually end up talking and linking back up again and possibly even turning it into something more long term. All right, the bottom of the deck on your side, we have Magic. So this is the equivalent of the Magician card. So it could just be saying that in a way you might have manifested this connection into your environment. For others, you could just be saying that, you might have other areas of your life in balance now. So due to that, it could just be bringing this connection into your lives. And then the bottom of the deck on their side, we actually have the Four of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here, actually. It represents the last 10 degrees of Capricorn, and there's a lot of heavy energy there right now. We have Saturn and Pluto, which you guys are probably well aware since you are Capricorns. But yeah, with this energy, the Four of Pentacles actually represents a bit of reluctance. Like if you look at the body language there, it looks like there's some shyness involved, So could be what's at play for some of you there. And usually Four of Pentacles traditionally points to being a bit closed off. So yeah, especially if you were the ones who left them in the past, that might have been the energy that they were left in after that, because they're like, okay, well, can I trust you to be around, right? And then with the Princess of Staves in that regard, I could even be saying that you guys might have been the ones to come back in the picture and then end up leaving again. So, it might have been actually you guys who were more in the in and out type of energy. And now it could be saying in the future, you guys actually are the ones who are going to try to stick through it this time around. And to be fair, like I said, especially since this is a Capricorn card here, this could actually be your side on the right, and this could represent the other person's energy, because this definitely has like a fiery energy on their side, but um, could even be a Sagittarius you're dealing with. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. And interestingly enough, beneath the Four of Pentacles on their side at the bottom of the deck, we also have the Magician. So could just be saying that both of you kind of manifested this into your lives, and maybe it was just a thing where in the past the timing wasn't right because, like I said, either you or they were otherwise involved. So it could have just been an issue of bad timing, and it could even just be saying that, you know, this might even been a connection that you needed to leave behind anyway if there was another person in the picture, not this person but the person you were originally with. But maybe they were served as the catalyst in that regard, you know, to actually break you out of that connection. And then, you know, you might just need a little bit of time before you're ready to leap into something with them. So kind of weird energies, quite frankly. Like I said, it seems like something was definitely a little off in the past between the two of you where there was someone else in the picture. But we'll see what the oracle cards add to the mix. First, we'll see if we get anything from Aqua Moonlight deck here. And I did pre-shuffle this deck, but what we're going to be looking for is just some jumpers. So first, I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them, and then we'll be looking for some from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I'll just take that as a sign to move on to the next oracle deck since it's just a general reading. But sometimes we get additional messages from this deck. Oh, got two, but they fell, so I'll pick those up. But first, let's see if we get any unspoken messages from them to you. All right, nothing coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Almost had one there. All right, yeah, so nothing on their side, but I'll pick up those cards for you guys. Give me a second. Okay. Let's see what we have. First, we have a card with the keyword walls, and it says, I feel like I can't get through to you. Please let me in. Interesting energy there. I mean, really, I feel like more than anything, it's, like I said, just from the positioning of these cards, I feel like it was more you that was kind of running away from the connection, but I suppose it is possible that you felt they were closed off, especially because, like I said, maybe that's what this Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck on their side is pointing to, because, like we said, traditional tarot, that definitely represents that closed off energy. And even here, we see it at the very least represents some shyness. So that could be what's at play here. So it could be them that has the walls up, but like I said, it seems like you guys are running away from the connection too, so quite frankly, it might even be a mixture of the two of you. But that's the first card. And then the second one we have is rejection. There we go. It says, I'm uneasy about myself. I don't know if I can truly make you happy. Interesting energy there too, because perhaps for some of you that is the reason why you run away from the connection, right? Maybe you feel that pull towards this person, but for whatever reason you might get scared and then end up leaving the connection. So that could be part of why there's that in and out energy that we see. And like I said, keep in mind, some of you, this might be your energy on this side, this might be the other person's, but yeah, I could see both of those cards playing out technically. Like I said, initially with this one, I thought that would have been more for the person on this side, but then when I thought about the fact that we do have the Four of Pentacles bottom of the deck on their side, then yeah, could just be saying that they were the one with walls up. And with these ace energies, could just be saying that they might have felt the same way, but they might not have been expressing it. Because for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, I do always say that the ace energies feel more like they're in the idea stage as opposed to like a page energy, which would be the person actually coming forward with those thoughts, you know? So, and then maybe that's what the Knight of Swords is saying there in the future, where they finally do open up to you like you were wanting to, and then that actually restores the balance between the two of you, and you can get things moving. So, definitely a pretty positive message there. And then let's see what we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, but here we're just looking for one card with general advice to wrap up with. Oh, got one there. Okay. All right. We have the tribe. There's the artwork, and the number is 8. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says community, belonging, being seen and understood by others, like-minded connection, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. So interesting, the being seen and understood by others. That made me think of the walls card there. So hopefully this will resonate with you guys. But the Oracle's message says this card signals a new affiliation with a group. Humans are social creatures, and we need to know we are useful to our tribes, families, and communities. In a tribe, everyone has an important function and feels I matter. Membership in the group provides a sense of belonging, of kinship, and of purpose that comes from working together for the greater fulfillment of all. Perhaps you are part of a spiritual community or an artistic one. Perhaps you are in a learning community where you share your love of education. Regardless of its form or focus, your community brings you joy. You will be inspired by it and want to contribute to it. Your contribution may be as small as showing up or as large as becoming its leader. No matter your position in the tribe, your presence is needed. So it's an interesting message there, because maybe that's giving me a little more insight as to how you guys met. For example, maybe this is someone you met in your work environment, and that could have been part of why it was a bit difficult, because maybe that people in the work environment being together is frowned upon, which could happen in some companies. So maybe that was part of what was the issue, right? But hopefully that resonated for you. And then the relationship message says you're discovering the essential qualities that you share with another, and perhaps also those you don't share. There are times when you follow and the other person leads, and times when you lead and the other follows. The appearance of this card points to the importance of learning the proper dance between you and another. Accepting the truth that everyone has flaws is part of that dance. Yet you are also being asked to be aware of the dynamics that you don't want to repeat. You're in the perfect place to make changes in order to experience the best version of who you can be together. So an interesting message there too, because what that kind of made me think of is maybe this was saying in the past you guys might have been the aggressors, right? And now in the present they might be the aggressors, and you're running away from that, like, whoa, wait a minute, because that seemed like the dynamics flipped for you guys. And then with the fact that it mentioned, it used the keyword of dance there. It said learning the proper dance between you and another. It even kind of looks like the two of them are dancing as well, and the keyword there is balance, right? So could just be saying that you guys are figuring out that, okay, maybe it threw you for a loop at first, right? That you're like, all right, hold on a second. I thought I was the one being the aggressor, but you guys might seem to go back and forth in that role. So could just be saying that you guys are just going to feel each other out in that regard, and that could actually help get things moving in a positive direction for you guys. So, bit of a weird reading, but I feel like that's probably going to resonate for at least some of you. So hopefully it did, and we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.